China launches live-fire naval drills just miles from U.S. destroyer operating in South China Sea. Pentagon labels it intentional threat. This is warfare signal. USS Ralph Johnson, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, conducting freedom of navigation operation. International waters. 110 nautical miles west of Scarborough Shoal. Legal operations. Standard patrol. Nothing provocative. The destroyer maintains steady course. 15 knots. Routine surveillance. Monitoring Chinese military activity. Supporting regional security. Completely normal operations for U.S. Navy in contested waters. Then Chinese Navy broadcasts warning, all maritime frequencies. Attention all vessels. People's Liberation Army Navy conducting live fire exercise. Area bounded by following coordinates. The coordinates define box. 25 nautical miles on each side. Center point, 8 miles from USS Ralph Johnson's current position. This is deliberate. This is targeted. China is establishing weapons-free zone around American destroyer without warning, without coordination, without regard for maritime safety. Commander Lisa Martinez commands the Ralph Johnson, 16 years Navy service, 3rd Destroyer Command. She's operated in South China Sea dozens of times, encountered Chinese exercises before, but never this close, never this sudden, never this obviously directed at American vessel. This is escalation. This is provocation. This is intentional threat disguised as training exercise. The Chinese broadcast continues. Live fire drills commence in 30 minutes. All vessels must exit designated area. Failure to comply may result in damage or casualties. This is final warning. 30 minutes notice. For live fire drills. 8 miles from U.S. destroyer. This violates every maritime safety protocol. International regulations require advance notice, coordination, collision avoidance. China is ignoring all of it, creating dangerous situation deliberately. What's your immediate response to hostile exercise announcement? Type A for maintain position. Type B for tactical repositioning. Type L for counter drills. Martinez faces decision. Does she leave? Comply with Chinese warning? That looks like backing down. Validates Chinese claims. Suggests America accepts restrictions in international waters. Or does she stay? Maintain position. Assert rights. Risk getting hit by Chinese weapons during exercise. Neither option is good. Both have consequences. She chooses to stay. American warships don't retreat from international waters. Not for Chinese exercises. Not for threats. Not ever. She reports to 7th Fleet Command immediately. Chinese Navy announced live fire drills 8 miles from our position. 30 minutes notice. Exercise area encompasses our patrol zone. Requesting guidance. The response comes from Admiral Stephen Kohler himself. Maintain position. Assert freedom of navigation. Document everything. Defend yourself if attacked. We support you completely. Stay with me. The next 2 hours determine whether this becomes international incident or shooting war. The Ralph Johnson maintains course, maintains speed. Bridge crew goes to general quarters, battle stations, every sailor at assigned position. Weapons systems powered up, fire control radars active. The destroyer is ready for anything. Martinez broadcasts her own message. Chinese Navy, this is United States warship Ralph Johnson. We are conducting lawful operations in international waters. We will not be leaving this area. Recommend you relocate your exercise to avoid endangering U.S. vessel and personnel. No response from China, just silence. Then at 0655 hours, Chinese destroyers appear on radar. 3 Type 052D Luoyang the 3 class ships, heading toward Ralph Johnson. Speed 25 knots. They're taking positions, surrounding American destroyer, creating triangle formation. Ralph Johnson in the center. This is tactical encirclement. Preparing for exercise that puts U.S. ship in crossfire. This is beyond provocation. This is deliberate endangerment. If you believe live fire drills near U.S. warships constitute acts of war, type warfare signal in the comments. The Chinese destroyers reach positions. 12 miles north, 12 miles east, 12 miles south. Perfect geometry. Each destroyer at vertex of triangle. Ralph Johnson at center. The Chinese exercise area is 25 miles across. This positioning means any weapons fired inward will cross American destroyers' position. Missiles, gunfire, torpedoes. Everything converges where U.S. ship operates. This is intentional targeting under guise of training. Martinez analyzes the tactical situation. 3 Chinese destroyers, each carrying 64 vertical launch cells, YJ-18 anti-ship missiles, HQ-9 surface-to-air missiles, total firepower, 192 missiles, plus guns, torpedoes, close-in weapons. Against single American destroyer? The math is terrible. Ralph Johnson has 96 VLS cells, advanced systems, better training. But 3-to-1 numerical disadvantage in contested waters is a significant tactical problem. But Martinez has advantages too. The Ralph Johnson's Aegis combat system is superior. SPY-1D radar tracks everything. Fire control coordinates responses. Electronic warfare systems can jam Chinese sensors. Countermeasures can defeat incoming weapons. And she has support. USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group is 400 miles away. P-8A Poseidon overhead. Attack submarine USS Mississippi lurking below. She's not alone, even though surrounded. At 0730 hours, Chinese drills begin. First shot is anti-ship missile from Northern Destroyer. YJ-18 launch. The missile climbs, then descends to sea-skimming altitude, heading south. Trajectory passes 3 miles east of Ralph Johnson. Close. Dangerously close. The missile impact splashes into ocean. Exercise target hit. But the launch was clearly visible, clearly tracked, clearly threatening. What would you have done when Chinese launched first missile? Comment your tactical response below. Martinez orders defensive posture. Fire control radars lock onto Chinese destroyers. SM-2 missiles ready. If Chinese launch toward Ralph Johnson, response is automatic. Engage with everything. Destroy incoming weapons. Counterfire at launching platforms. Self-defense is absolute right under international law. She broadcasts warning. Chinese Navy, your exercise endangers U.S. vessel. Any missile approaching within 2 miles will be engaged as hostile fire. This is final warning. The Chinese continue. Eastern destroyer launches. Another YJ-18. This one heading west. Trajectory passes 2.5 miles south of Ralph Johnson. Even closer. Testing American resolve. Seeing if destroyer will actually engage. Pushing boundaries. The missile splashes. No threat, but barely. The margin is shrinking. Each launch gets closer. Each weapon more threatening. This is deliberate escalation. The Southern destroyer fires next. Gun exercise. 130mm main gun. Firing north. Shells impact 4 miles away. Still not direct threat. But trajectory crosses American ship's defensive perimeter. Creates risk. If ranging is off. If shells fall short. If deliberate targeting occurs. The Ralph Johnson is in potential impact zone. This is reckless. This is dangerous. This violates maritime safety. Warfare Signal has covered close encounters before. But live fire drills surrounding U.S. destroyer? This is unprecedented aggression, where professional operations meet deliberate provocation. The dangers, the escalation, the implications. Martinez maintains position, doesn't flinch, doesn't retreat. Her crew performs exceptionally, tracking every Chinese weapon, every launch, every shell. Combat Information Center processes data continuously. Fire control solutions updated. If this goes hot, Ralph Johnson is ready. Can engage all 3 destroyers simultaneously. Can defend against saturation attack. American training and technology provide advantage even against numerical superiority. At 08:15 hours, Northern Destroyer launches again. YJ-18 anti-ship missile. But this trajectory is different. Heading directly toward Ralph Johnson. Range 12 miles. Closing at Mach 2.5. Time to impact. Approximately 90 seconds. This is it. This is attack. Exercise or not, missile heading toward U.S. warship constitutes hostile fire. Martinez doesn't hesitate. Weapons free. Engage incoming hostile. The Ralph Johnson's Aegis system responds automatically. 2 SM-2 missiles launch. VLS cells erupt. white-hot exhaust. The interceptors climb, accelerate, heading toward Chinese anti-ship missile. Fire control radar guides them. Precision engagement. The first SM-2 intercepts at 6 miles. Direct hit. YJ-18 destroyed. Debris splashes into ocean. Second SM-2 flies through debris field. No additional targets. Mission accomplished. Incoming threat destroyed. The tension spikes immediately. American destroyer just shot down Chinese missile during Chinese exercise in international waters. This could trigger war, full-scale conflict. Both nations on edge, fingers on triggers. One wrong move and shooting war begins between great powers. But then, Chinese Navy broadcasts. Attention U.S. warship. Previous launch was off-course malfunction, not intended toward your position. Exercise continues. Malfunction? Missile heading directly at American ship is malfunction? This is face-saving lie. China tested American defenses. Got answer. SM-2 interceptor destroyed their missile easily. Now they're backing down, claiming accident, avoiding escalation they cannot win. Martinez responds diplomatically but firmly. Chinese Navy, we engaged missile in self-defense as it approached our vessel. Any future launches toward our position will receive same response. Recommend you terminate exercise or relocate to safe distance. The message is clear. We will defend ourselves. We are not leaving. You choose next move. Superior training, decisive action, warfare signal. The Chinese drills continue, but trajectories change. No more weapons heading toward Ralph Johnson. All launches directed away from American destroyer. The exercise becomes legitimate training, not harassment, not provocation. The Chinese learned lesson. U.S. Navy will engage threats, will defend ships, will not be intimidated by surrounding forces or live fire drills. For next 90 minutes, Chinese destroyers conduct actual exercises. Missile launches, gunnery drills, anti-submarine operations, all directed safely away from Ralph Johnson. The American destroyer maintains position, documents everything, radar tracks, photographs, electronic warfare logs, evidence of Chinese provocations, evidence of American resolve, everything recorded for diplomatic protests and intelligence analysis. At 10:45 hours, Chinese drills conclude. The 3 destroyers depart, heading northwest, back toward Hainan Island. The exercise is over, crisis averted, but damage done. China demonstrated willingness to endanger American forces, conduct exercises that threaten U.S. ships, push boundaries beyond reasonable safety. This is pattern, escalatory behavior, testing American responses. The Pentagon's reaction is swift and strong. Press conference within 6 hours. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin speaks directly. Today, Chinese Navy conducted reckless live fire drills surrounding U.S. destroyer in international waters. A missile trajectory required our ship to engage in self-defense. We characterize this as intentional threat to American forces. Such behavior is unacceptable, dangerous, destabilizing. China must cease these provocations immediately. The phrase intentional threat is significant. Not accident, not misunderstanding. Intentional threat. Pentagon is stating clearly, China deliberately endangered U.S. warship. This wasn't exercise gone wrong. This was provocation, attack simulation, testing American defenses under guise of training. The accusation is direct, unambiguous, backed by evidence. Which response demonstrates strongest deterrence against provocations? Type A for diplomatic protests, Type B for military presence, Type C for capability demonstration. China's response is predictable denial. Foreign Ministry claims Ralph Johnson was in Chinese waters, claims exercise was legitimate, claims American engagement was aggression, complete fabrication. GPS data proves Ralph Johnson was in international waters. Satellite tracking confirms position. China is lying. Standard procedure when caught in reckless behavior. But international reaction supports American position. Allies issue statements. UK condemns Chinese drills. Japan protests dangerous exercises. Australia supports US position. Philippines expresses concern. The diplomatic isolation builds. China faces criticism from multiple nations. Their naval exercises seen as provocations. Their claims rejected. Their behavior condemned. The tactical analysis reveals Chinese intentions, the surrounding formation, the inward firing pattern, the progressively closer launches. This was deliberate test. Measure American reactions. Gather intelligence on Aegis capabilities. See if U.S. destroyer would actually engage. Collect data on SM-2 performance, electronic warfare responses, tactical procedures, all valuable intelligence for potential future conflict. But they paid price for that intelligence. They revealed their own capabilities. YJ-18 performance, radar signatures, launch procedures, operating patterns. Ralph Johnson collected extensive data, electronic warfare logs, radar tracks, missile telemetry. This intelligence helps U.S. Navy develop countermeasures, improve defenses, counter Chinese weapons more effectively. The strategic implications are concerning. If China conducts live fire drills surrounding U.S. warships, what's next? Drills around Allied vessels, exercises near American bases, weapons testing in commercial shipping lanes? The pattern suggests increasing aggression, willingness to risk incidents, confidence that America won't escalate despite provocations. But the SM-2 intercept sent message. U.S. Navy will defend itself, will engage threats, will not be intimidated. The technical success demonstrated capability. Chinese missile destroyed cleanly. American systems work. Training is effective. This is deterrence through demonstrated competence. USS Ralph Johnson remains on station. Same waters. Same mission. Not deterred. Not intimidated. Conducting freedom of navigation operations. Chinese exercise didn't achieve desired effect. Didn't force American withdrawal. Didn't restrict U.S. operations. If anything, American presence increased. More destroyers rotating through. More surveillance. More determination. The crew of Ralph Johnson receives recognition. Navy Commendation Medal for Commander Martinez. Leadership under pressure. Perfect decision-making. Professional response to dangerous situation. Navy Achievement Medals for Combat Information Center personnel. They tracked threats. Executed intercept. Performed flawlessly. These sailors deserve recognition for maintaining composure during crisis. The intelligence exploitation continues for weeks. Analysts review every data point. Chinese radar emissions, communication protocols, missile performance, tactical procedures. Each detail adds to understanding, improves American capabilities, strengthens defenses. The provocative exercise became intelligence windfall despite Chinese intentions. 3 weeks later, China conducts another exercise. Different location. 200 miles from nearest U.S. ship. Proper notice. Coordinated timing. Safe separation. The drills are legitimate training. No provocations. No dangerous maneuvers. The change in behavior suggests Beijing got message. Surrounding American warships results in international condemnation. Electronic intelligence losses. Diplomatic isolation. Not worth the tactical intelligence gained. The quiz answer: China launched live-fire naval drills 8 miles from USS Ralph Johnson, with 3 Type 052D destroyers surrounding American ship. Exercise included YJ-18 missile launches with increasingly close trajectories. One missile headed directly toward Ralph Johnson, requiring defensive engagement. Destroyer launched 2 SM-2 interceptors, destroying incoming weapon. Pentagon labeled exercise intentional threat, representing deliberate provocation. China claimed malfunction. International community condemned dangerous behavior. American capability demonstration through successful intercept established deterrence. Chinese drills subsequently conducted with proper separation, demonstrating behavior modification through demonstrated resolve. 3 questions for you. Should U.S. destroyers engage all threatening missiles during foreign exercises? Can close-range drills be considered acts of war? What happens when China attempts similar provocations during actual regional conflict? Subscribe to Warfare Signal, where elite operations meet great power competition. We cover the incidents, the responses, The people maintaining American naval superiority. Hit subscribe. Enable notifications. Next episode reveals electronic warfare capabilities that blind enemy sensors. This is Warfare Signal. Superior training, decisive action, unstoppable resolve.